All right, squad. What's up? What's up? We got episode 7 today.
I got nothing bad to say about him. He did quite possibly the worst air dodge of all time. I don't think they that air dodge quite literally changed the date of the tournament back to July 4th. It was a very patriotic air dodge.
It's your boy.
What's going on
AT.
in your chat? How we doing?
With Doorstop. Another episode. Oh, I'm gonna get some background music. But it's been a minute. We took a week or two off. The latest event we were both at in terms of Smash was Riptide. So if we want to do a little background on Riptide, Ohio's probably biggest tournament ever. One of them.
Yeah.
P tier banger event. Super
First
fun.
P tier in the Midwest, that. I'm not sure if P tier was even a category that existed the last time we had one, but I think the first time since Big House 2022.
Mm-hmm.
It's well over a year, almost 2 years since we've had a quality event like that. Fantastically run, might I add. Great event. You guys should come next year if you missed it this year.
Oh shit.
There was all sorts of tweets from top players, and my own experience reflects that correctly as well, that this tournament was run really well. Everything was super well on time. I was actually kind of impressed by it because they shoved a lot of things on Saturday. This was a really big tournament to shove into 2 days, and they pulled it off very well. So yeah, that was fantastic. You should talk about your run first, Andrew. What we got?
All right. Well, I played at 6 p.m. on Saturday, and I would almost rather optimal time would be afternoon. So I kind of had to wait all day, but I was chill. Got to play a lot Friday night and stuff. Me and Atada teamed. We got what was it, 25th in doubles or something? Or no, we got I forget what we got, 13th, 17th, something like that.
Yeah.
But we did really well. Our team was kind of sick. But singles came. So I had fought Boku the hero. I don't know if it was last Riptide or the Riptide before, but I was cooking. I was a little angry. It was in loser's bracket, so I did really well. I usually don't do that well against hero, so I was a little bit worried going into this. But I wanted to play more Aegis. I was really trusting them. I literally only practiced them for 2 weeks before the event, with a little bit of Zero Suit, and then I tried them in every set I played. Lost game 1, switched to Zero Suit, and then I just kind of did well, but. That set in particular was a little bit weird. We had a pro controller pop up in the middle of the set. The speaker wasn't working. And then it goes into game 5. I'm down 3 stocks to 1. I'm like, chat, is this it? And then I just kind of played I wasn't down. And then I just made the comeback. And then Shuton was watching me. He's like, nice comeback.
Shuton, go!
I'm like, yeah, that's my goat.
Shuton's one of my favorite Japanese players. I actually think this weekend made Shuton Emma's favorite player. I think.
Really?
I just I actually respect that a lot. I feel not a lot of people appreciate Shuton. I really like Shuton because he remembered me despite me being some random white guy Zero Suit he played in pools 2 years ago. Not even 2 years, 4 years ago.
Yeah. That was a Prime Saga, right?
It was at Frostbite, the one right before.
Right.
Right before COVID.
When he downed the Pikmin, right?
When he actually, yeah. I think it was actually the one after he downered the pick.
Oh, okay.
Because I think, yeah.
Wait, let me catch up with chat real quick. Yo, Derbs, is this whole episode gonna be about why Wolf sucks? You got the wrong podcast, bro. Wolf's top. How good do you think Wolf is? Let's just get that out of the way. How good do you think Wolf is, Steven?
Too good. Okay, honest opinions on that. I think he's top 10.
Top 10.
Which
okay.
Is way higher than I think almost anybody else has him. I think he's closer to the top 5 than he is to the outside of top 10. I think that dog is so broken.
I think I don't know. I think against Zero Suit, he's if you were a Zero Suit player, he's top 5. But if you're playing him against certain characters, a lot of characters, he's he just can't. He doesn't have that effect on other characters like he does with us. Is he just killing people?
I
Like
don't know.
stray
Okay.
hits?
Okay, so he, like, to his credit, I think he has two very bad, very meta relevant matchups, which I think, like, Kazuya and Steve are both genuinely very hard for
Mhm.
him, and harder than on average it is for, I think, like, most characters around his power level.
Mhm.
Like, I think, like, he, like, it's not just like he has the generic every, like, bad Steve matchup. I think his Steve matchup's like a little worse than most other, like, not like unplayable, but it's like a little bit worse than, like, let's say, like, I don't know, it's a comparable top tier at this point, like Palu's or something like that. Probably a little worse. But I think he does do that to, like, and also Rob's also hard for him.
Mhm.
But I think he does that to literally every other character. I don't think it's just
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
UFC.
I think he's like more on the fragile side, and I think that might like the fact that his recovery kind of like sucks randomly.
Yeah,
Side B is a fake move.
it's unreactable though. Like, it's not a reactable mix up. If he up Bs or side Bs, it's like he always has that.
But like I agree. I think that like there is that factor, and he almost needs it because if you could react, he would be so bad.
I think he should. I think we should be able to react.
Because
I'll say it. I'm bravely standing up. I'm that guy.
I think his dash attack is super broken, but I think the fact that his dash speed is what it is, kind of like it's not balanced, but it makes it fightable.
No, so I didn't realize why. Like, it took me to play Wolf, and this broken characteristic about him for me to appreciate why Zero Suit isn't broken. Zero Suit's biggest weakness is not having a good grounded burst option. She doesn't have a way to, like, really punish people on the ground. And I played this because on Wolf, I'm like, holy, what the? Having a dash attack and a dash grab, and they're both like the best move in the game. I get to make people 50-50 just by running at them. And by get 90 million damage off of both, I can potentially kill you off of both. Like, and it's like I just get to play this mix up every time. This is amazing.
I think as a Zero Suit player, it like laser is a little tilting.
It's so dumb.
The one projectile where we can't just like zare through it. It just goes through everything, does a lot of damage.
You ever think about how they like nerfed like every move in this guy's kit?
Yeah,
Like,
and we're still complaining.
It's still so dumb.
Wait. Let's see what else is going on.
Yeah. We make this entire episode about me raining.
So it's Ty changed their tag to Kauruko.
What's good?
Scarlet, what's up? Abe, what's happening? Random question to Doorstop, but because you do a lot of Pokemon stuff, do you play Pokemon Go?
So it's not a bad question. I do not anymore. I had it for a bit, and honestly, like, it was like kind of fun. I just like didn't have enough friends that kept playing, and so I kind of like fell out of it too. I have like two friends that are still like really into it. And I actually like have a decent understanding of how the comp in that game works, and I think it's really funny. I think, yeah, that's pretty much the team building's like more what I find funny, apart from the fact I do think the fact that the entire game is just but the way the building works in that game makes Pokemon that are like specifically the type of Pokemon that will never be good in any other format are actually like weirdly good. Like Stunfisk has like been the GOAT multiple seasons of Pokemon Go in a row. Like Lickitung was like #1 at Worlds or something. like it's a really whack Pokemon end up being really good at Pokemon Go, and I think that's kind of funny.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it's not my thing. But I know a decent amount about it.
I think it's fun. Like, I don't play it ever anymore, but the concept is really cool, and I think it kind of brings that like Pokemon to life. You know, I think it's cool. Yeah. But yeah. So back to my Riptide run. Clutched against the hero, fought Shuton, dittoed him, did okay, switched to Zero Suit, felt playable, but I kind of got cooked. I just got 3-0'd straight up. It's the GOAT, bro. So,
yep.
Phase 2 pulls. I'm kind of going back and forth with Arcdy, the Palu, and I like had no expectations. I just kind of like I felt like I could lose, but I felt like I was playing well, and I just kind of like it's not that I didn't care. I was just so indifferent about the outcome.
Yeah.
I ended up clutching, and it was one of those things where like you are so outside of like what like I don't know what is actually happening that you see the fact that the other person really doesn't want to lose.
Yes.
Like you
no,
can just see
I've
that. Yeah.
I've told you my daybreak story, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm pretty sure I told Chet this too, honestly.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, like sometimes when like they get really like, sometimes you're just like not super invested for whatever reason, which I think is like not necessarily a good thing, but it does give you that unique perspective to realize like it kind of like detaches you from your nerves. So as long as your brain's still going, you can be playing like pretty well. And then you get the awareness of knowing that this person is like this means everything to this guy and this means nothing to me.
Yeah.
And this guy is like it some ways like it just makes them like a little bit more predictable. Or in certain cases or something like that. There's like a real power in like kind of detaching yourself from the outcome.
Yeah, I think that low-key gave me a new perspective on like humanizing these people.
Yeah.
It's like, you know, you hear names, you hear the fact that they're PR, they're a top player, they're ranked, whatever. But whenever you see people like vulnerable in that way, you're like, all right, like we're no different. Like we're yeah, exactly. We're human. So yeah, I played that set. Then I fought what was it? Justin
21 or 22. I don't know. Does his tag change with his age?
I don't know because I
swear it was Justin 21 at one point, and I think it's 22 now.
Yeah, I think they're yeah. I thought it was Justin 23.
It might have been Justin 20. I swear it was 21, and then it was 22, and then maybe now it's 22.
Yeah, either way, dude is cracked. That Yoshi, it was like neutral. It wasn't like camping, and that was what it was cool because like I could tell he was trying to find his way in. I was trying to not let him in while also like taking advantage of him trying to like go over or something. But we were both so like reactive where like we saw those slight changes and we're like, yeah, I don't want to take that. But a lot of clutch plays. I think I had to reverse 3-0 him, and that was such a mental uphill battle because fighting Yoshi, you don't really get openings where you're like, oh, I could just kill him.
Yeah.
I feel like you're earning neutral.
It's a very played right, and I know you played this right, which is actually kind of what shocked me. I thought it'd be a long 3-0, but I thought you'd like win that because like he's good, and I know he's good. But Yoshi's like one of the few things like there's not many Yoshis in the world I'd ever bet against you. Because like I think it's like a good matchup for us, and it's one that you understand very well with both Holden and also Weeble Wobbs here, right? Like Neo. So like you don't just get Yoshi, you get like both extremes. You get like the extremely campy, like optimal Yoshi. You get the crazy aggressive makes plays Yoshi. And you're dealing with that on a weekly basis. Like, in Northeast Ohio.
Yeah. I definitely think it was one of those like I was playing well, but I had like it was just a reality check of like you can't just play. Like you gotta play it right. And I was just being lazy. Like slightly. It wasn't like I wasn't playing well. It was just like lock in, play it right, quit being lazy. So then they were all super close games. I ended up winning that set, and it was pretty hype. But then was it Chunky Kong? I think
it was because that's the one I got. I was watching on Star GG you play Justin, and then I got to the venue right in time to see you play Chunky Kong.
Yeah, Chunky Kong. You told me, you're like, do you remember what I told you about that? I'm like, yeah. And I'm just playing neutral, trying not to get hit, and then I get an up air, or he has to up B off stage. They're just dead.
I told you the formula, and you made it look like that you invented it. I'm not gonna lie. Like I knew the formula. Like I taught myself the formula to like play him, and just like play against Donkey Kong like Shirley before my set with him, and I like struggled to like kind of implement it, and like I like still like dropped the game. He could not touch you. He could not do anything. It was you made that like look solved, which is like good that someone can, because I'd be losing matchups like that.
Yeah.
So yeah, no, I'm glad that I was so excited watching. I was popping off in the crowd at that point.
Yeah.
I hope there's like some surviving footage, because I think the only time the You and your next set after that are the only times like I was like really active in the crowd all weekend, and I had so much fun screaming.
Yeah. No, that was a really cool set. I was like almost in disbelief when it was like that easy, because like I was like worried about getting hit, but I'd get grabbed, and it was There's another thing I learned at this event was like, whenever you get hit by something stupid that you know you shouldn't have gotten hit by, but it's like part of the game, you just like feel dumb. You're like, oh, other people think I'm so bad. I really got ding-donged at 50 when I had the stock lead. But it just didn't matter to me because I'm like, all right, I'm going to land, I'm going to not get hit, and I'm going to up air him. And
as long as it doesn't happen 2 more times, he's still within the infinite up air glitch.
Exactly. And it all converts into like a true ladder. Like
there's so many especially so like that's like the one thing where like it really helps with me when I was like there's a lot of ways that I think even like best Zero Suit players don't know where you could just like take like a random stray hit and like turn that into a hit that confirms into a true kill. And DK is just one of those characters. It just happens to him on accident.
Yeah.
You're like, oh wait, like I just got this random fair one. GG's.
Yeah, and if you get an up air, even if it's like it doesn't even send him in a tumble or something, if he like double jumps or air dodges or does nothing, it's all reactable. So you just up air again. If he jumps, oh, no double jump, I'll double jump. Or like just position better. Like he has to go to ledge and it's bad.
Yeah.
But we knew that matchup was like that though. It just be like that. But then I fought J-Jaw, and with having like zero mental warm up at all, I feel like I had a good idea of it, and then I got reverse 3-0'd. Because like
it was so tragic.
Yeah. Like the overall, even aside from the gimmicks, I definitely like let it get to my brain that I'm like, oh, I could fight him. Like I can win this.
Yeah. I don't think I had any issues with like how you played that. I think you started scrapping with him a little bit more as the set went on, and that was like obviously a mistake. But I think it was more so it was just like the moment game 3 where you got Kirby sighted, I was like, he doesn't know he can mash flip jump. No.
Could I kill him for that?
You could. I don't like. I wouldn't mess with it. Probably in most cases, I would maybe go for the soft spike. Unless you have like a really good reason to play that.
I'll lab it.
You go for the kill. But yeah, so for our aspiring Zero Suit mains out there, if you're playing against a Kirby and they go for the Kirby side of you, for one thing, if you're even stocks in his last stock, don't mash. He dies first. In fact, actually, in a lot of cases, you could just not mash if you have a stock lead, and Kirby dies first. If you mash, you're gonna fall out. And you like fall faster than he does, so he's going to have the starting position above you. I think you still have a slight frame advantage, but I don't think it matters in practice because by the time you have gained enough height on your double jump to before Kirby starts moving, Kirby will be able to footstool you because of the height difference. So a lot of characters are just straight up dead to this. There's just nothing they can do. Zero Suit would be one of these, but because we can mash flip jump as opposed to our normal jump, Kirby can't footstool the flip jump animation, and we're gonna go over him. So even if he like reads it, let's say he like double jump nairs or up airs or something like that to hit us out of it, it doesn't matter as long as we're ready to tech, and then we double jump away and we're at him. And sometimes we could even turn the situation around on him. There's like ways for us to like turn him hitting us into a suicide dare. You suggested maybe going for the flip kick on him. I don't know if like we have enough height by the time the flip kick starts to get the spike on him. Because he's gonna be like near the top of the arc, already. That's like why I like wouldn't go for the kick because I don't think it kills him in most cases. But maybe we get the soft spike there. But like most importantly, you just don't die. You should like mashing flip jump always saves you, and I know you'll carry that with you the rest of your life. Like that information. So that's.
I mean, we'll probably play again at some point.
Yeah. I mean, he's not a Michigan player, so like it's just pretty likely.
Yeah.
But yeah, that it was tough because he had like 2 leads, and I think both leads like got lost by that at some point, or like, and those were like 2 of the games that he lost. Is like, oh no,
yeah, that does kind of suck. But I would have fought Jazzo after that. So,
and we know how you feel about Ken. So, we had an episode where we talked about Ken. We'll probably have another one if we bring Shu on here. So.
We would have had a very intense conversation before that set if I did have to fight him.
No, I would have been like, all right, Andrew, here's the plan. Shaking you. Dude, me and my Omni-Man like outfit.
Yeah.
Like,
Oh my gosh.
give you
Jump backwards. Just keep jumping backwards.
forward tilt. Never aim a hitbox at him, only in front of him.
Yeah.
Stuff like that. That would have been the conversation we would have had. But that was a really good run. You had a hell of a losers run.
Yeah, I thought it was really good. It was fun.
With like the set against J Jaw, Chunky, Justin 21A. That's like Heike Boku's a scary person to run into at Major.
Yeah.
He's like kind of known for being that guy who could just kind of beat anybody.
Mm-hmm.
Like obviously there's probably like a little bit of hero to that, but like he has a Zombo win. Like,
are you serious?
Yeah, he is a. I'm pretty sure he has a me win. I know that.
Wait, who?
He has a me win. He's
really?
Not the most recent time, but actually I think the first time we ran into each other, he did get me.
Mm-hmm.
And that's like, yeah, that's and like Zero Suit like probably has like a better matchup than most people, and he makes it hard.
Let me also add this. I started Aegis in like almost every set, and I auto lost game 1.
Dude, you were playing every game down 1.
Yeah, literally. Maybe that's the secret. Like, don't care about game 1. It's all info. Then let the clutch do its thing. You know, Toronto, what's happening?
Your final placement was 25th, right?
I got 49th.
Or 49th. Yeah.
Still, like, at a P tier is like really good.
That's really good. So my tournament run feels less like spectacular to me. I have some very interesting lessons I got from it. I lost to Raven King, which is the first time I've lost to him. I didn't know that he had prepped for me, and I could tell. It was really hard one though, because I like was on tilt the entire set. I started the set really strong. I like 0 to death in like the first 10 seconds. And then he like kind of sort of was like bringing it back, and then we get it to last stock. And then what ends up happening is he's on ledge at like 140 and I'm at like 60. And he doesn't even have Arsene. Like it's just such like everything's a great situation for me. I kind of got this locked, and I know it. And then he's like, I'm gonna do a side B. I timed the side B perfectly. I was reading his neutral get up. He neutral gets up. I think it was a neutral get up. I know that whatever get up he did, I did the side B at the timing for it. But I do not get side B, and I have been double jumping. So I like did a full hop at ledge, and I had done a double jump, and I was landing with the side B. And instead of a side B, I got a flip jump off stage with no double jump, and then he just immediately goes off and backers me, and I died. And I did not recover from that. Like that, like kind of like damage. I ended up getting game 3, I think, but I was like, I straight up tilted. It's been a while since I've hard tilted in a tournament before, and it was very frustrating. And he was like definitely onto me like a lot of like my habits, and I was just not in like the place to like get it back up. He did good prep work, but the way I lost game 1, like I think kind of doomed me.
That sucks, bro.
Yeah, that one hurt. I can't lie. And so from that point, that was like an upset. So I didn't even know my bracket past that point. I go to losers, 0 time to cool down from it. I immediately have to play Kazuya. And it's this Kazuya player's first tournament. He's from Minnesota. Not his first tournament, his first major. I don't think he's ever traveled outside of Minnesota at this point. And it actually like hurt his guys. Tag's Mistral. And he very nearly beats me in like the most. And the games I was losing was the most like stereotypical like grab defeat from the jaws of victory in front of Kazuya, like, you know, where I'm just like had these massive leads get hit once at 0 and my last dog die. Had these massive leads get hit by my last dog at 0 day. It was tough. Like my mental was in shambles. I barely pull it back. I think he might have SD'd game 4 in a last hit situation where he was up 2-1 and I think he SD'd. And I think I just kind of ran over him game 5. So I got a little lucky, but that was a set. Like there was a real chance that I got 129th and like I would have been like heated, you know.
Emo. You would have actually just been a full-time Pokemon player.
No, it was over for like you guys would never see me play Smash again. Like on the ropes. And then past that point, I have to play the winner of Comet and Zen. They have like this like 40-minute game 5 set, and Zen wins.
Who's Zen?
Zen's a Pikachu player from like the Central Midwest, I think.
Oh,
I actually played him a long time ago. I think at like a Kansas City tournament I went to. And I beat him there with Pokemon Trainer.
Mm-hmm.
If I'm remembering correctly, I think it's the same guy. He knew that I had a Pokemon Trainer because he asked me which one I was starting. And I went Zero Suit the whole set. I decided to play Zero Suit Pikachu. I like him a little bit more these days. He wins the first game pretty decisively, but I kind of realized I was like slamming my head into the wall a little bit. And against Pikachu, you just got to be like down to play the time.
Yeah.
And we play a lot more calmer. Game 2 is really close, and I barely pulled out. And then from that point on, game 3 is the first game I start with a lead, and game 4 I also start with a lead. And when I start with the lead, I just didn't lose it.
Mm-hmm.
And then I had Butter, the Luigi from Kentucky, immediately after that. That's a really tough draw for him. That's like just a really good matchup for us. I'm one of the Zero Suits that could lose to that. And he actually did get game 1 on me. But past that, I just had some like I played really disciplined. I had some like good call outs. I didn't let it beat me very often, and I just win the set 3-1.
Yeah.
And then my next set, I think after that, was Enhanced PV, and I don't know if you saw that set.
I watched it after the fact.
Okay. The Enhanced PV set might be the weirdest set I think I've ever played. That might have been like the least convincing 3-0 perhaps of all time. I don't know if I could have won by less impressive margins. In that both game 1 and game 2, I think he is 3 stocks to 1 on me.
Yep.
And I bring it back in different ways. And I think game 1, I like steadily bring it back. It was like a pretty good comeback, I think, for the most part. I think I just like kind of played well my last stock.
Mm-hmm.
And then he does, and I like Enhanced a lot as a guy. I got nothing bad to say about him. He beat me twice. He's like our only set, so like before this, he had beat me twice.
Mm-hmm.
And that was on a good day. Like Enhanced is a very good player. I think this is his first major back since like a long time.
Well, he went to Supernova. He beat Luis.
Oh yeah, he was a Supernova too. Yeah, I think second
still.
major back in a long time.
Yeah.
He did quite possibly the worst air dodge of all time. I don't think they like that air dodge like quite literally changed the date of the tournament back to July 4th. It was a very patriotic air dodge. The Eagles like were cheering. It was like he wanted to recover without using his limit.
Mm-hmm.
And there's ways to do that against Zero Suit holding down smash right in front of you. There's like ways to do that air dodge in a way that like might cause us to miss it.
Yeah.
I could not have missed that air dodge if I tried. It was a tough one.
Oh,
and he ends up dying at 80 with like a huge lead because he just lost because of the worst air dodge of all time.
Yeah.
And then second game, he gets an even bigger lead. He like finishing touches me at 50. Like I think like I had 17% on him or something by like the time it was on. Is like I was on my last stock. I think I'd done like 17%. It was bad. And then I get his first stock, and then I fall out of Cloud's up B, and I true punish ladder him at 20% and kill him. You guys should all check that out. It was the most therapeutic thing I think of all time for those of us who played Smash 4 and remember how well Zero Suit Up B worked on Cloud. Spoilers, it didn't ever. The feeling of Cloud me falling out of a Cloud move and killing him at an unreasonably early percent was the greatest feeling ever. I take nothing back. That was like karma stored up or something. But I still had one more stock to go, and then he proceeds to do another air dodge to try and recover while he had limit that he didn't have to do. It wasn't as bad. It was like at least like decently like spaced air dodge. Like this time, I clip it with a down tilt and I kill him with down tilt back air at 50. And then he goes Wolf game 3. And I was really prepped for Wolf. I'd actually done a lot of Wolf practice before this tournament with Lavish and Danny.
Mm-hmm.
They played their Wolves against me, and his Wolf is good. We actually also played in squads this tournament, and I think his Wolf, the reason why I brought it out is because his Wolf did really well against me. But I was just like too ready for it, and it wasn't particularly close. And he comes up to me later, and I actually feel bad because we never actually got the games. But he like wanted to get games with me later. And it's like, dude, Doorstop, you like cooked me, man. Like, can we play later? I'm like,
Yeah.
That's not what I remember. Like,
He's always so chill.
Yeah, he's a really chill guy. Like,
yeah.
I don't remember cooking him at any means. I remember getting cooked and then like like divine intervention bailing me out, you know?
Yeah.
Something like that. And then past that I played Guy, and then Guy I blow a massive lead because I go for a down smash boost kick. I knew it would be close, so I leaned all the way into the boost kick, and because he was at like 80%. I was at literally 0, and I had another stocks, which is why I felt comfortable doing it. The down smash up B didn't kill him, and I died at 0 because I leaned all the way into the boost kick off stage to try and get it. And then I proceed to choke a 0, like a lead. I don't get 0 to death, but I got like down throw down beat at like 100, and he was at like 190. Like I was trying to kill him with forward tilt at that point, and it was another tragic choke.
Mm-hmm.
Like I just had him dead to rights. There was other ways I could have killed him there, and I tried to go for like the easiest one and barely couldn't do it. And that was tough. And then he 3-stocked me in like 10 seconds. Game 2, he like grabbed me 3 times, and that was it. Game 3, I won it, but game 4, he just gets me out. I'm like, my takeaway from this tournament, I think I ended up 33rd, was that I cannot hold leads to save my life. I think I had some tragic chokes this tournament. But see me on my last stock is what I would tell everybody.
Yeah.
Doorstop down 3 stocks to 1 has a better record with Doorstops up 3 stocks to 1. So if I could play every stock like it's my last, it'd be over for everybody. Until that point, see me in Pokemon, I guess.
Low key, I think we should both work on that. Like the skill of like having
Holding
a lead, understanding. Like if you think about like when I fought Sonics online, he got the first stock, and then it was actually like he was untouchable. And the only time I got my hands on him was when I was being back thrown. You know what I'm saying? Like he was hitting me. He hit me, and
his hands were on you.
Yeah, his hands were on me. It's the only time I got to touch him. So I think there's definitely a way to maintain a lead like that.
It's a skill.
Mm-hmm.
That's not a chance. That's not an unfortunate joke.
Yeah.
Me being good at being down is as much as a skill as me not being able to be playing while I'm up. That's or as much as that is a lack of a skill, rather, right?
And that's exactly like when I first started playing Cosmos, like in bracket and stuff. I would get the stock lead. It didn't matter. I would be down a stock. It felt like the end of the world. That's like a top player effect that obviously is a skill, and that's like specific to like it's something you have to learn. You know, it's not something you just kind of. But it starts with that deep-rooted understanding of the state of the game, I guess. Like momentum is like such an unseen thing that like really does play an effect on like what's happening or what's gonna happen, and then also just like having a stock up and like thinking like, oh, I'm chilling. However, there are characters that make me really don't like. I really just don't feel like that against.
Yeah.
I mean, we know those characters.
Kazuya.
Yeah. It's hard to camp them
Loki
too.
Wario.
Yeah.
There's just like certain characters where it's like the game is just straight up like even until it says game. It's like actually, and weirdly, I can actually like process it against Wario, where like I actually like play against Wario under the assumption that I'm just starting to stock down.
Yeah.
Whereas like I think that my problem is that I can't get out of my head the fact that I think that Kazuya has waft permanently all the time, so I'm just starting infinity stocks down. Which isn't like that's not actually like true to what's happening there, but
it's like
that's
you lose unless you win in time.
Exactly. Yeah.
But like it's backwards still. I don't know. It's like hard to describe.
But I think that was like our Riptide stories. I think we both had like some pretty good like stories in there, and that I felt really bad about my tournament, which is like strange. Like I mean, like it's not like strange. I think like once you get to a certain point of skill, right? Like it just sucks to lose. Like it doesn't like no matter how far you get. You never like. I remember the day that like I lost to like the Dark Shed or something like that. You know, like top 25 PGR player in like Smash 4, and I was like bad about it. I was like, when did this happen? Like what? You know, right? Like there's sometimes like yeah, you get to a certain point, like losing is just like never fun. But I felt like really bad about this, and I had to take like an honest step back for myself. And it's like, for a guy who's been playing Pokemon for the entire last month, 33 at like arguably one of, if not the most stacked Smash tournaments of all time, it's not so bad.
Yeah,
33's that's pretty all right. Like I actually placed my seed technically, which is also cool that I was even seeded that high at a tournament that's stacked, you know, right? So that was like pretty cool. And I'm like very, very proud of your losers run. You had so many game 5s, right? Like you had an exhausting run.
Literally after, I felt like they should not have been game 5. Like
also know the feeling.
Yeah. But yeah. I'm like happy with how I did, but like the number does not accurately represent how I like. That's not why I feel good. It's like more than that. And I think it's
I was proud of how you were playing.
Yeah, I was playing. Yeah, I think I just got to play a lot that weekend before playing in bracket too. And there was a little change in mentality too. I don't know if I texted you about this, but like I'm always playing to like learn or whatever, but I like wanted to like win. Like I wanted to win and play well. That was like what it was. Like on top of like learning and stuff, being able to like show an accurate representation of like what I'm working on, like what I'm learning, while also like having the clutch, I guess. And that was like the biggest part of it. Like I feel like at so many other events, I just didn't have the clutch because I'm like, oh, it's fine. I'm like learning. I'll do better next time. But this time I was like, I want to win. So and
I think you had it.
Yeah, it keeps me from thinking like, oh well, I can't lose this one. Then I get this place, or like I don't want to lose. But it was like, nah, I'm trying to win.
I think this tournament was like I know like SmashCon was like a tough one for you, but I think like this tournament was like a great example of like how you put in so much work right before SmashCon. And even if SmashCon, the tournament, didn't show your like the product of your work, the work is going to show out at some point anyway. And I think at Riptide, a lot of your work really showed. You did like
I think so too.
That was a very, very, very high level play from you.
Yeah. Cosmos. So Cosmos got cooked by Chunky last time they played, and he texted me. He's like, "Hey, I saw you play. You looked like a top 30 player," and I was like, "Yeah, it felt like kind of easy." He's like, "That's because you were playing like a top 30 player. That's what it feels like. Like it makes the good players seem like they're not that good."
It really does. Like, and I actually think that's like such a great little like side tangent here, where like, a lot of like people like gone around and asked the question. I think Wild's made a tweet about it like shortly before Riptide. It's like, something about like I hate when like people who are not top players think they're top players or something like that. And I actually think like it brought up some discussion. I have no thoughts on like the Wild tweet. I think it's whatever, you can tweet what he wants, but it brought up some discussion over like what actually like do people see as top players, like what's like the cutoff. And to me, I don't even consider myself a top player. I think there is a gap between me and like the like 2-2 like 3-2 range of player between me and like the top 30. I think the gap is like the same, which is a massive gap, right? Like I think what I would like say is like I could lose to those like 2-2 like 3-2 guys. It probably doesn't happen very often. But like that's like a category of player I think I could lose to on like my worst day and like maybe like some of like their like better days or something like that, right? That's how I feel. I feel like the 2-2, 3-2 guy whenever I run into any of those top 30 guys in bracket. And yeah, I have sets that look like where I look like I was like Chunky Kong, right? Like like just like it doesn't even feel like I'm in this like guys league. I genuinely think like those top 30 players have that gap behind us, which is like crazy.
Yeah.
But like the top threshold of like even like just like among the top 10 or something like that, like the gaps like get like they're so good. Sonics is so I don't think people appreciate how much better Sonics is than like the next best Sonic player who's probably also top 30.
Yeah. Yep.
Right? Like I don't think like people appreciate how much better Sonics is than Ken and Wrath. And those players are incredible.
Like, picture someone who's like better. Like, there is that gap of like they are a top 30 player. Like, let's say Wrath. Wrath is definitely top echelon of players. And how is Sonic's beating him every single Wi-Fi tournament, every single time I'm sure that they played offline.
It's like never close.
There's no way you could just do that. Like, even like, I don't know. I think there is a skill gap in like, especially, I know dittos are weird, but like, you're better than me at the ditto, and like, I can take games.
Yeah.
It's just like,
You got to set ones, so.
yeah, exactly. So like, the fact that Sonics is at that level, so precise. I don't know. I think that's also keeping the leads too. That's like probably a big skill that like he just does better than everyone else.
Yeah, it's like stuff like that where I actually also like respect like Sonics doesn't like think Sonics is amazing as a lot of other people do. And we actually like got to talk a little bit about it. He stayed in our hotel room a little bit after the tournament. And we like Sonics like talking a lot with us. It was a great time, super insightful. And like he thinks like he genuinely like believes like a lot of people are just really bad against spin dash, and like not just like people like the average people, not just people like us, but like the top 10, like a lot of them, and like only a couple of them are now just like getting consistently good at dealing with it. And he thinks like a lot of the future of Sonic isn't even going to be using spin dash that much. He thinks a lot of it's going to be like a lot more of like the grounded movement stuff, and that like, and it's hard to argue with him knowing how well he dismantles every Sonic he plays. And like, you know, obviously Sonic's going to have more tools against Sonic than probably most characters do. But the like a lot of the things that he explained like made very real sense. And it's just like, oh yeah, that's like really hard, but I bet if you were just really practiced at this and also just, you know, Sonics, this probably is actually like not that hard to deal with at all. Like and even if you're a character with like lower mobility or something like that, right? Like and yeah, dude's like there's a gap between those guys and not just us, but like even like the guys, there's a gap between those guys and the guys who have a gap on us. Like,
well,
right?
Do you remember when Chase and Sonics did their online thing? They played in Coinbox, they did reverse mains, and Chase like timed him out or something, and he's just saying words, saying Chase words. And it was really funny. It was really entertaining.
Yeah.
Then they ran it back. Chase could not touch Sonics. Like, Sonics dissected that matchup as Palu and just figured out how to beat Sonic.
That one was like, was that one offline or also online?
I don't know. I thought that was online.
That's even like more impressive.
But you could like tell he put in effort to like beat Sonic with Palu, and that's so funny.
Yeah.
But online too.
No, that's he's a funny guy in general. I like listened to him talk. It was like first time I actually got to like talk with any like extended amount. I think a lot of people don't appreciate this. Sonics is also just a funny guy.
Yeah. No, who was I asking? I think it might have been Cosmos. I was like, is Sonics not cringe because he's good, or is he just super cool, or is he cringe? Like, you know how he'll tweet like the Sonic, like he did the Sonic pose on stage at SmashCon.
Yeah,
he lost to Shuton like the first set, and then he posted the clip of Shadow saying, "I promise, revenge." Like, is he cringe or is he cool? I can't tell. Like, the fact that he just destroys everyone, like, to me, he's cool.
High key is because his jawline's incredible.
That could very well be it. Yep. And like he's not the typical gamer. Like, bro has a girlfriend. He's also like Sonic's himself, like good looking dude, and he got the skill to back it up.
Yeah.
But if
he's like, he's cringe, but he's winning, you know, right? Like, and other people who cringe aren't winning in the ways that he is.
Yeah.
Bro has a steady, consistent income, gets his paycheck every Wednesday for a couple $1,000 every other Wednesday.
He probably fights harder for his like $50 at a local fighting Capitancito than he does in Coinbox. Like,
which is crazy.
I loved seeing their like Twitter beef. Like Sonics would drop one set and it would be like a SpongeBob meme of like Patrick dunking or whatever. That stuff's cool. That stuff's really cool. But
which I also don't think he's lost to Cappy in a while. From what I think he talked about it a little bit. I think that rivalry is kind of getting out of control, or looking less like a rivalry these days. But
I I think like we can talk about like Spargo winning 2 P tiers.
2 P tiers,
I
which
think that's
we're looking like Spargoed again.
Number 1.
This kind of happened. Was it in 2023 or the year before? I think it was 2023.
Yeah, because
where Spargo looked like he was going to be the best player in the world, and then kind of fell apart just like as he started realizing it. It seemed like
that was when he won like Collision. Like he just started like he would never lose.
Yeah, there was a period. I think it was the first half of 2023 where Spargo was very clearly the best best player in the world.
Yeah.
And I think he ended up like, or maybe not very clearly. I think like, was this the time when Akola like kind of snagged it from him, where like in the half year ranking or something like that. But at some point, like Spargo was definitely about to be the best player in the world in the half year of like 2023. And got really close to it, and then he had a bad like tournament right near like the half year ranking, and Akola snagged it from him like by like farming Japanese tournaments, despite Akola beating him like every single. That's right, Spargo beating Akola every single time, and then Spargo kind of fell like off, like fell off, but like the rest of 2023 like second half like really fell apart for him, and then Akola was very clearly like the best player for the whole year.
Yeah.
And obviously we haven't had like that situation come up yet. I don't think Spargo was as definitively number 1 in the half year point of 2024 as he was in 2023.
Aquila losing, like the fact that there is a weird dynamic where it's like this player is definitely performing worse, but is losing, but they are beating the most consistent player in Aquila. Mia, not even top 8ing Supernova.
Yeah,
and Riptide
too. Yeah.
And then Mia goes home and cooks Aquila.
Which to Aquala's credit, I don't think Aquila was at Supernova, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, he didn't win, right?
He got because that top 8 had, it was like obviously Spargo, Sonic.
Yoshidora got him.
Yeah.
Yoshidora got him. Yeah.
And then Sonics beat him in losers, so he got like 5th or something.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah,
it's definitely, to me, I think there's like, I actually like about one of my predictions is that if things keep going at this current rate, I think there's a chance that Aquila and Mia end up being the best players still, purely through the sheer weight of Japanese tournament wins that they might be able to accrue for the remaining part of this year.
Spargo's going over there.
I think if that happens, I think there's going to be a shit show in the rankings, because I think from every tournament that everybody is present, I don't think it's very close between Aquila and Mia compared to Spargo and Sonics.
Oh, yeah.
I think Spargo and Sonics, like Spargo is winning 2 P tiers, right, back to back. And he had a big one earlier this year too, I think. Like I don't think either was his first. And then so he's got like 3 really big tournaments this year, like as his win, while everybody was present. Whereas like Sonics is like the number 2 meme guy, but like, hey, there's something to be said about getting number 2 at literally everything, right?
He finally broke the curse.
He had a bad one. He got number 3, right? Like, you know, like that's like kind of insane stat rep sheet like period as well. Whereas Aquila and Mia are, I'm sure, getting a ton of like really high cal like quality like wins in Japan.
Oh yeah,
but they're not over Sonics and they're not over Spargo.
Nope.
And I think there's a chance that the rankings end up, there's like a whole like, the rankings could be a shit show if Aquila and Mia end up like on the number 1 again.
Yeah,
because I think there's like, I think the data could show that. I think like that's not like the even necessarily the biasness of like the rankers.
Mia cannot be number 1 or 2. There's just no way.
He's having some rough NA tournaments.
Yeah. Well, before I bring up my next point, Darius, what's happening? And Rovi, thanks for the sub. That's a goat right there. Hold on, Darius with the sub.
Yeah, right.
Yo, goat. 2 goats.
We got
2 subs. Let's go. I'm gonna bring up the fact that Leo is coming back. I know this has been said the last 3 years, but the fact that he went to Japan, it does not seem like this is on some vacation time. This is like he's going to everything.
It still matters to him.
Mm-hmm.
I think Leo absolutely has that dog in him. I don't think at any point he lost like that dog in him. I do think there was a little period. I think Leo's like, obviously this game's like greatest player. I don't think this game will last long enough for anyone to just overturn his accomplishments to get like. I think like it's actually kind of like, it says a lot that I'm already very confident by the time this game is over with, that Leo will be the GOAT of Smash Ultimate.
Yeah.
And there is some tough competitors who are arguing for it right now. I don't think they'll have enough time, no matter, even if Leo quit tomorrow, to change that. And that's just like to show how insane like Leo's own like repertoire was up to this point. I do think there was a period where people wanted to beat him so bad it was shooting them all in the foot.
Yeah.
Kind of like that, like touching on that little detail of from before where like you versus like ArcD, right? Where because actually you carry less probably helped you. I think that's like part of what actually has hurt him, on top of like him putting in a lot less work into the game. I think beating Leo doesn't have the same gravitas that it used to. And it actually, because it doesn't have the same gravitas, is actually like, because people want it less, they actually are able to do it more.
Yeah.
I don't think Leo is like, I think like that clutch detail that Leo always had, is that aura is a little bit gone.
Yeah.
I think that's the only, but I don't think there's a reason why he got so good that everyone would like fell apart. Just even the thought of being able to do it, you know,
like it wouldn't surprise me as much anymore if like Siski or someone who plays like a really strong character with a strong play style, like it's not necessarily like matchup checking. It's more like it's so easy for it to like snowball.
Yeah.
Like I feel like Leo is more susceptible to that than like way before, mainly because people are better, and like there's no way you're going to be able to believe like as a Samus player, like, oh my gosh, I'm beating Leo. Like back then, you know,
no. I think also this is like maybe a hotter take. I think people realize Leo's characters, all of them, were just not as good as anyone thought they were. Which I'm very happy about, like in that I was always a Byleth doubter. Like I thought Leo was so much better than that character he was playing. Which he's still incredible at. I think Byleth is just incredibly mid, and is not bad, just mid. You know, like not good, not bad, just painfully mid. And I think it took people. There was a period where everyone was just trying to convince us that like Byleth actually like top 20. I saw top 10 from some top players at some point.
Dude, people
just because Leo was playing him.
Yeah, people were acting like they'd find any little bit of counterplay and it would be like so huge, and like they were trying to beat that character. And I think that was like, it was hard to like, you know, people were like, oh, Byleth isn't that good. And they were like the people speaking up against the results. And it was hard to argue like with that, because Leo just kept winning.
He just kept winning.
Then he stopped winning. And the way I think of Byleth for Leo, so the way I play Ness and the way that Ness is easier execution, I think that is his character. Joker,
like his Ness. Yeah.
Joker is not easy. Like he's so nimble. Like you know how it is. Like you understand.
Yeah.
Like Joker is he works a 9 to 5 until he gets Arsene. Then he gets put off stage and then he can't play the game.
Yeah.
Like against certain characters. Yo, J-Jow, what's happening?
Even when he's broken, he's still like other characters when they have their broken modes don't have any added stress onto it.
Yeah.
Joker becoming broken, like which he is absolutely broken with Arsene, actually has to play more perfect, which is its own level of stress, and it's on like a time limit too, right? Like you feel pressured, like I have to make something happen with this, and then also I have to be perfect because this is 2024. People will kill me every single time they hit me off stage. Like, it's not a question of if how, or like they will kill me. That is,
Yeah,
that's
I like wouldn't be surprised if he leaned on Byleth more just for the longevity of these brackets. Playing Joker like that long, I don't know.
Mhm.
Like it's not even like that it's not possible. It's just like who wants to do that to themselves when you could play a character you're just like you'd skill gap anyone, and then you might get character diffed later in bracket, but it just won't matter in pools or like.
I actually think it's one of the biggest differences because I think Leo's very quickly reapproaching the four horsemen. Right now, I think he's not too far from like getting back into it, and like even like now he still has like he had a tournament win over Spargo this year, right?
Yeah.
And like he's like very clearly able to compete on their level, like and give all of them a run for their money. And I think what the biggest difference between him and the rest of them is that all four of the horsemen have a character that they can just autopilot through 80% of their bracket and save all their brain energy till they have to think. And that's just straight up a fact, right? Like no one is making Mia think until like top 32.
No, not at all.
Right? I'm not making Mia think till top 32, and I'm playing like one of the worst matches, right? Like it was just like that, like he could just do his thing, and it is just that powerful, and he's like, it's like the execution is not that incredible, like crazy difficult. He's not like stressing that hard. Same thing with like Akala Steve. You could just Steve your way through like 80% of the bracket until you get the people that are actually like prepared to deal with what you do. And then same thing with like Cloud high key. I think there's some matchups where like it gets a little scary, but you can Cloud your way through 80% of the bracket. I think the only difference between Cloud and the other two is that things can go wrong for Cloud in a way that I don't think things can really go wrong. Like things can go wrong for Steve and Game & Watch, but not in the way
it's way less. Like I do think that like Steve, Game & Watch, Sonic, those are characters that your opponent will lose the set for you. Like
the players they'll beat themselves.
If they aren't at the skill level, which most of them, like most players really aren't, with how good these players are with their character like autopiloting, like playing Game & Watch autopiloting, they can just take advantage of things that most people don't know how to like, or they don't know that they're doing wrong. Like you could play against your local Game & Watch player who's PR'd in your state. It doesn't matter because like they see things naturally, so it's easy for them.
They can beat people purely off of just mistakes, like like without having to force any of them really. Like they can do very low commitment things and just watch the opponent fall apart. And that I think is the big difference between Leo and the rest of them, is that he just hasn't really had a character like that. And I still don't know if Byleth entirely qualifies as that kind of a character. Like I think Byleth has that play style, but I think there's just a big difference in actually how really truly effective it is, because I think Byleth's a lot worse than those characters. But I do think that's like kind of what he needs. I was excited to see his Meta Knight again.
Did you
Min
see
was always
at at Umberbura?
I saw his Meta Knight playing again, and thus Smash 4 Leo fans remember what he did to Mr. R, his very first tournament that he was on the world stage. He was Meta Knight Leo for a while, although it never stood for that. But he was Meta Knight Leo for a while. And then MK Leo's back. But and also I was actually a character that we'd all been suggesting. Not we, I guess, but like but I had been like thinking about, and a lot of other people have been thinking about, was he should be playing MK for his Min problems, because even when he was like unbeatable, like post COVID, Min was like the character that was giving the most problems. Like he was having trouble with Proto Banam, right? Like for a while, like Proto was the only guy who could beat Leo, and like other Min like gave him trouble. And we're like, just bring back Meta Knight. Like Meta Knight like solos that matchup. Like actually, it's a really really bad one. We get to watch it at a pretty high level in Ohio every week.
DeBuzz did end up beating him finally with Min.
DeBuzz got his like win on with Min.
That's the only pop off that was ever allowed from a Min player.
DeBuzz finally deserved it, man. Like, come on. That was like 8 years and 2 Smash games.
That was so funny.
It's there was so much hater. Like he used it for a while. The only person who could get Leo's Joker rack.
Well, there was a matchup that I heard about. I don't know. It wasn't Min, but it was someone else that Meta Knight's like weirdly good against. That is it Sonic? There's no way it's
Possibly,
Sonic.
yeah. Actually, possibly.
Yeah,
I can see it.
some random character, but
He has really good dash speed. Probably has realistic ways to clank, and that kind of weight class where you're like light and floaty is actually super easy for Sonic or for Meta Knight to kill off a dash attack.
Same with Game & Watch. Floaty.
Yeah. I think that is a good one for him. Like Meta Knight, typically the two requirements for a Meta Knight matchup is the character has to be easily comboed. So they have to be like the right weight and like fall speed class. If they're like certain types of heavies, generally just like not fast fallers or like kind of like the right combo weight.
Mm-hmm.
And so if you fit into that category, if Meta Knight can easily kill you when he hits you, so you're either very easily comboed or you have a very exploitable recovery for him. And then the other condition that needs to be met is does the opponent have a whiff punishable neutral? And which is why Zero Suit's a horrible matchup for him. Zero Suit's like, I think most Meta Knights agree is his worst matchup. Because Zero Suit does not have a whiff punishable neutral, and she's the wrong type of fall speed for like to be easily killed off of combos. Sometimes you can still die to them. And then she's also doesn't have a very exploitable recovery, right? So like Meta Knight can't hit her. When he does hit her, it doesn't mean as much.
Yeah.
But if you meet one of those two conditions, you probably have an even matchup against Meta Knight.
Mm-hmm.
And if you meet both of those conditions, you probably lose to him, like badly. Like Min Min has a very whiff punishable neutral for him, and is a very exploitable recovery and combo weight. And that's a horrible matchup for Min Min.
Yeah.
And that's like generally the rule. Like Lucina is really bad for him. Lucina is really bad for or bad against Meta Knight. Palutena is really bad against Meta Knight.
I know Corrin is like kind of rough.
Yeah, right. And this was probably because Corrin is actually one of the strengths of Corrin. I think compared to a lot of other sword characters, and I think it's actually the same strength that Cloud has. Is they're the only two sword characters in my opinion that do not have whiff punishable neutrals. And that like all the other sword characters when they whiff a move have like enough downtime for Meta Knight to dash attack them. There is not enough downtime between when the hitbox is active on Corrin's landing nair and when she get up shield to like consistently get dash attack for her.
Yeah,
it's just not practical. And similarly with Cloud back air, they actually are the only sword characters that have safe aerials that are not whiff punishable. In a way that every other sword character does.
Yeah, I remember like it's for a different reason. It's more about like the edge guarding. I'm sure it's the same with Cloud too, but I remember Neo was saying it was Metara or something, the Meta Knight from like his local, always gives him a hard time. And then I remember I was talking to Dadik when Shattuck was playing against who's the Meta Knight? You fought him before. Not Bond. Show. Yeah, they're Shattuck was
great player,
Show.
super underrated by the way.
Yeah, Shattuck was down 2-0 and had to make the comeback, and you know Dadik was like, yeah, Meta Knight literally just edge guards Corrin, gets hit like hits Corrin once and edge guards.
So he meets the other half of the condition.
Yeah,
right. Like so, it probably is like very like randomly difficult in that way, which is probably also actually how the Cloud matchup is too, where he meets the other half of the condition.
Yeah.
So it's probably fun for nobody. Where like Meta Knight has a hard time hitting him, but when Meta Knight does hit him, they die.
Yeah.
And no one likes those matchups on anyone's side, besides like Luigi players. But
yeah. We can move on to the stride thing. I think that was something we definitely want to talk about.
Oh yeah. We definitely tried to cut this a little shorter. I'm sorry if I'm holding too late. I don't know.
You're good. You're good.
But yeah, we were planning to have a shorter episode, and I think we ended up talking like for the full length of one of the side topics anyway. As it does. It's looking tough to be an Esports Oregon Smash right now. I'm being entirely honest. So, I think specifically it's tough being an NA Esports org in Smash, which is like, I think in Japan, it seems like they're having the most success they've ever had with like getting like Smash out there. Like that one Japanese tournament where the like game 10 finals between Akola and Mia had like 1 million views in a day, right? Like they are getting some crazy numbers on their streams, on their like YouTube videos. Like it's a good time to be a sponsor and have one of your players in your jerseys at one of those tournaments, right? In NA, it's just not the same right now. I think like motivation for NA, like some of the players are still very motivated, still going, right? But I think in general, like a lot of like the scene's energy has just been on a steady decline. Like frankly, like I would say like post MK Leo era, I think like the energy for on the NA side of things has been like pretty down. I think the one thing that kept us going, it was the excitement of who's going to be the guy to beat MKLeo was like going for a while.
That's facts.
And I think it's just like that energy is no longer with us, and it's just hard for sponsors to like get a lot of interest for people to be excited about Smash again. And I think we're seeing like they're not even the first org to do this, where like some NA org comes in, like newer org tries to pick up a whole bunch of Smash player, holds them for a little while, and then falls apart. 26R did this. Stride has now done this. Luminosity picked up the players, hasn't fallen apart yet, but Luminosity is also like a esports giant, right? They have a whole bunch of other esports that I'm sure they're
they
like,
make them
well diversified off of.
I think they've capitalized more on like the fact that they have like that level of player, and they're making content. Like they have ways to make money.
Yeah.
So like it's probably not even close to like other games still, but
yeah, I think Luminosity is the one big org that has picked up Smash players at high level that hasn't fallen apart at this point. Like, whereas like like 26R and Stride were the two off the top of my head, where they both like came in, lasted about a year, had some really good players on their team, but just never were able to get anything to do on them. Kind of just like fell apart.
Even FaZe fell apart.
Even FaZe. I mean, that's for different reasons.
Yeah, that was different.
I think that's unrelated.
Yeah.
And yeah, so like it's tough being an esports org right now. Like, frankly, got me like worried about like Fear to a certain extent. I've like not been the greatest about getting like Fear content going, but I think like I don't think Fear's in particular danger. Our league team's doing really well. When I do things, like I hit some pretty good numbers, even when I'm not playing Smash. My Twitter was popping off over me playing Pokemon, you know. So like there's like stuff like we're doing. They have me do a lot of offline stuff with them too. I've also not been traveling a whole lot, so I haven't been costing them a lot either. So like I'm not like particularly worried about like Fear like as in the present, but I am worried about like Fear in like the ecosystem, right? Like it's just not like particularly great for orgs like them at the moment. And I think we gotta like really gotta start like innovating ways to like kind of revitalize the energy for Smash. I think the easiest answer is a new Smash game comes out, but like that has nothing to do with us, right? You know?
Have you been seeing the discussion of the Switch 2?
Yes, we're gonna get an announcement about it soon, if I recall correctly.
Wait, like is that confirmed?
There was a message that Nintendo put out like earlier this year that there was going to be news regarding the new Nintendo console coming out in fall of this year, or the second quarter, I think was what they said. And this was like back in June.
They are stupid to not make it a Switch 2.
Yes.
Or
Switch is just a wildly successful console.
Yeah.
And I think the one thing that we can always count on Nintendo is to never innovate where they have to, whether they don't have to. So like Nintendo is like the king of, hey, this worked, we're just gonna do it again.
Yeah.
Right? That's like their whole business model since like the dawn of time. And you know, it keeps them going. There's like the whole meaning like Nintendo's quite literally like an old fossil. They run their company like an old fossil. They just do the things that have been working and they keep doing it.
Yep.
And maybe they do them slightly better, a little bit better.
The Wii U.
Peak. Yeah, exactly, right?
Peak.
Wii U. And then the Wii U sucked, and they're like, okay, well, we got to do something different now because the Wii U sucked.
Dude,
and so they did something different, right?
I thought the Wii U was so cool when I was younger. And in hindsight, I'm like, this thing was like, what's the point?
The crustiest, most inconvenient. Like
the only question I would ever get, like if someone came over and they'd be like, oh, like what's that? I'm like, oh, it's the Wii U. It's a new Nintendo console. They're like, so you could take that tablet anywhere? I'm like, no. And that is stupid. Why wouldn't they just make a home console that's more powerful and make it portable? And I think that's what they're going to do next.
Absolutely. Yeah, I think there's so many things to improve on the Switch as well. Like, try Joy-Cons that don't drift.
Oh my gosh.
$1 billion idea, right?
Yeah.
Like, the Switch, but if the Joy-Cons worked.
Yeah.
Like, instant, like, trillionaire company, right? Like, you know.
Yeah. I will say, making, like, Zelda be able to play, like, on a mobile device is very ambitious. And I'll almost, like, there's so many flaws in, like, the graphics, the loading times, stuff like that. Things just look terrible, and it's fine because it's like the first time they did this. But if this next console is like supposed to be way more powerful and it's still garbage, like we get those Sword and Shield tree renders. Get that out of here, bro.
Dude, I gotta be the only Pokemon fan in the world that did not give a fuck about the Sword and Shield renders.
I didn't care, but like, that's worse than what they've done before on like a DS.
Yeah. I will say, I've recently had to play through Sword and Shield again because I have to get some Pokemon in it for like competitive stuff. Like I like building a Zacian team like in the previous format or something like that. So I had to replay Sword and Shield to get a Zacian. I will say, for like as much like crap as like Sword and Shield got, I actually kind of like enjoyed replaying it, and the animations in that game were so hype. I don't think there's ever been like so much soul put in like the battle animations of that game that they had going on. The attack animations were crazy. Like even Dynamax, as goofy as it was, had like so much soul in it. Like the way the trainers threw the Pokeball out, like every gym trainer, like all the gym leaders and the unique trainers had their own unique way of throwing the ball out.
The music while it played, which I think like Scarlet and Violet had some good songs too. I will say I don't think like we've had better animations since Sword and Shield, and I actually think one of the biggest disappointments of Scarlet and Violet is like the signature move animations are like depressing. Yeah.
Like knowing what they were in Sword and Shield, like Behemoth Blade, like look up like Behemoth Blade like in Sword and Shield, and then look it up in Scarlet and Violet, or look up Dragon Ascent from like Mega Rayquaza, and then look it up in like Scarlet and Violet. It's like the saddest thing ever.
Wait, they have that? Who gets that move?
Rayquaza gets Dragon Ascent. And like I ran Rayquaza at a tournament, so that's why I knew that. Like Dragon Ascent in like this game looks like U-turn. Whereas like dude, like Rayquaza used to go into outer space.
Yeah, I
and
know
then,
that
like,
animation.
You know, right? Like and like this game he doesn't even like do that. Like he like barely flashes green and then like does like a U-turn animation. It's like depressing. But yeah, the craziest part is the Switch I think could have done more. I don't think the problem is actually the Switch, and I think the best proof of that is Xenoblade 3, which you haven't played, but Xenoblade 3 has a more ambitious world than Scarlet and Violet. It is larger, and it looks so much better, and it runs better. And to the Scarlet and Violet's credit, I actually think like I really like I think Scarlet and Violet has a lot of things going on. Like there's like tons of Pokemon spawning in like every second all around you, whereas like Xenoblade has like relatively predetermined like enemy locations and stuff like that. So the game isn't perpetually loading you new things every 2 seconds. So like there's like different ways it has to be optimized. So like there's like it's not entirely accurate to like dog on it for that difference, but like they could be doing better. They could be releasing more optimized games. I think it has a lot more to do with the deadlines that they're putting the Pokemon developers on, whereas like Monolith Soft's just totally down to take like 8 years if they want to.
Yeah.
Whereas like they're already working on like the next Pokemon game after the next Pokemon game right now. I can guarantee. Like they gotta crank that shit out. And so like, but like yeah, like they're like it would be awesome if like what if we got like 144 hertz or something like that, right? Like a Switch game that didn't run at 60 FPS.
There's no
right,
way.
like
never.
There's like that'd be like insane to think about, but
4K.
like you know, let's not get ahead of ourselves. It's Nintendo.
We're getting one or
like,
the other.
Yeah, right. Like, there's a lot of things to improve on the Switch without like changing the formula. I just don't even think like I think Nintendo's competitors have like given up even trying. I don't think anyone's tried to make a mobile console since the Switch dropped, and I think there's good reason for it. I don't think they're like
the Steam Deck, but that's like so different. Yeah,
the Steam Deck is like very broadly adjacent. Like, and technically,
the Switch is like affordable too.
Yeah, which is like also the other thing, whereas the Steam Deck is like it hits a different target market. Steam Deck is for like really hardcore gamers, right? Like your friend that never plays video games might have a Switch.
Yeah.
Right. Like it's like a low commitment console that like is just a really good product. There's a lot of good games on it. Like, there's I think we're gonna get a Switch 2 is all to say, and I think there's a good chance that we get a Smash 6 on that, right?
Yeah.
A lot of people like talk about, are we gonna get like the Smash? They're gonna make Smash. Nintendo doesn't innovate, guys. Like they don't innovate if they don't have to. Smash Ultimate was, I think, one of the most best-selling games of all time. It's the best-selling Smash game of all time, but I think it's also one of the best-selling video games of all time. I think it's in the top 20, which is like it's up there with the big guys like Minecraft, you know, like that's like the good idea how successful Smash Ultimate is. I don't care if Sakurai's not working on it. In fact, maybe Sakurai not working on it's a good thing for his ideas of game balance.
I've been saying I love Sakurai, but
I think he's had some really good influence on the game, but the only thing that I want to say Smash about like Smash is I want the percent system to stay because I think that's so cool. I want the percent system, and I want it to be a platformer. That's like past that, you could change anything you want about Smash, and I'm not going to miss a whole lot of Sakurai's vision.
We don't need creativity anymore. We just need balance.
Yeah, somebody like some developers that actually like like care about like the consequences of their actions. Something like that, right? Like I'd take that. So there's a lot of room for like, and obviously that would like completely revitalize like the Smash like scene. I think even like as Smash Ultimate would be dying, I think the scene would be more live than it is right now. Like, because I think a lot of people will be like prepping, like I'm gonna be like on top of things in Smash 6, right? Like I think it would bring me back into it.
So let's say it's another like brawl incident. New developer, it's just like borderline uncompetitive in nature.
Yeah.
You best believe we're still competing in that.
Probably. I am not gonna lie, it'd have to be really. I think if they released Brawl as Smash 6, I think I would play it over Ultimate. I'm not even kidding. It's like it's tough to say. I'm like, I think saying I hate Ultimate's a stretch, but I am very done with this game. Like if Ultimate died tomorrow, I would cheer for it. I would be like, yay, okay. We get finally we're done with this. I'm just like kind of over it. I love Smash and I love competing, and that's something that's gonna stick around. But I am looking forward to when I'm competing in a different Smash.
Yeah,
I'm entirely honest on it.
Yeah, I definitely value the lessons I've learned in this game, and I feel like they pushed us to the absolute limit with touch of death characters, stupid gimmicks, comeback mechanics. Like, we are prepared for Smash 6 and whatever it could throw at us.
I just want a game where we get movement.
Hey,
I just want movement.
Rivals 2.
I'm not even kidding. Rivals 2, like, Ultimate got me down so bad that Rivals 2 looked kind of appealing.
It's fun.
I was watching some of those setups and I'm like, I thought Rivals 1 was the most gross looking game ever. Like, I could barely tell what like half the time I was hitting. Like, I just didn't like mess with the art style. I didn't like have any attachment to the characters. It's just like hard for me to like care about Rivals that much, even if like the mechanics were good, which I like a lot. That's like why people played that game, right?
Yeah.
Rivals 2 has enough an aesthetic that I like.
Yeah. And
also like it looks fun to play. And I can't say that about when I was playing Mistral's Kazuya like for 129th.
Yeah.
That's not how I was feeling after I got electric at 0%. Like I was not saying that about Smash Ultimate.
And maybe we could run like a rival stream or something soon.
Yeah, maybe. I know that Johan would be so excited to teach me Rivals. Like Johan would drive down from Dayton to hop on my stream to teach me Rivals.
Yeah.
Like
it's fun.
You would totally do it.
No, you could definitely play it already. Like that's how accessible it is. And there's only like some different like mechanics. Like there's a neutral or there's a special ledge get up.
Yeah.
It's just different, and then it's literally PM with different characters.
Yeah,
and it's fun. It's really fun.
They look like they move. That's all I needed to hear.
There's
right?
That it kind of scares me though. Like if everybody can move, then it's less special.
Yes, and no, because I think melee is like the counterpoint to that. I think every melee character is actually so special, so unique, and obviously there's like a lot of time for that to develop across the years. But I actually don't think at any point in Melee's history that wasn't the case. Like I think like Fox and Marth could both move incredibly, but Fox and Marth were just like never even kind of like the same character.
Yeah,
they never hit even kind of the same people. And then similarly with Sheik, she could also move, right? Like Falco could move. Like every character in that game can move. But the ways that they can move is different. Falco's like up and down movement's really, really good. Fox's everything movement's really, really good. Marth's like left, right on the ground is really good, but his left, right in the air not so good. Like right, like like Sheik's left, right is really good. And there's like a lot of like unique ways in the ways that they move.
Yeah.
You could be creative in a game like with movement like that. Even Puff moves, not on the ground, but like in the air, like in a way that is completely unique to Puff and nobody else.
True. Yeah.
Right. Like movement is I think that's like one of the things, because I think actually it's one of the disappointing things about Smash Ultimate to me is that the characters that can move actually all feel really similar to each other. Like I think Joker actually moves very similarly to Zero Suit in a lot of practices.
Yeah.
I don't think they play identical. I think they have different tools, but I think the actual ways that they move are like disturbingly crossed over in a way that like probably isn't special to a lot of people who don't care about movement, right? But I think even for the people that don't like care a ton about movement, can tell what makes like every character in Melee's movement unique. And I want a game where I feel that way about like the movement again.
Yeah. You ever think that maybe it's the flaws of the design that gives each game like such like it's just so unique? Like Melee obviously like is like the prime example, but like Ultimate, there are things we can't change that we just have to cope with. But like there's a reason why people play Smash, and there's probably more people playing Smash than Rivals. It could be the characters, but
yeah,
what if it's also the fact that we have no say in it? If all our problems were just fixed, do we really think that we would enjoy the game as much as we think we would? Like we love it.
I think also not everybody would agree what the problems are.
True.
Nor how to fix them. So like I think even in Rivals that's like that, right? Like I'm sure like Rivals seen as like plenty of people complaining about different things, and they all have their different ways on how they'd solve it. But I think the problems I think it's like the way the problems are get solved in patches, and like the final result of the game that ends up kind of determines it. Like I think obviously like I have my vision for what my perfect Smash game would be, and it's probably very different from what like a Luigi player, or like a character plays a character doesn't move, like has this other vision, right? Like they appreciate different things. But I'm gonna go out on a limb and say it: if a Smash game had every character like Luigi, and a Smash game had every character like Zero Suit, one of those games would be very clearly better.
Yeah. Yep.
Right, like and not even that I would suggest like a game like to be like, I wouldn't want every character to be like Zero Suit, but that's like what I would highlight, right? I would be highlighting, I would be trying to make a game where the characters are very distinct in how they move.
Yeah, I agree. Because like at the core of it, every platform fighter, like the one thing that's like really different is how people move. I think
that's like what makes like platform fighters different from Street Fighter and Mortal Kombat. If I could go to like other fighting games if I want a game where people combo differently, right?
Yeah.
Like I can't go to any other game, any other genre of game, and find someone who can move like Zero Suit Samus. I just cannot. That's just not a thing. Like there is no Zero Suit Samus in Tekken. There's no Zero Suit Samus in Street Fighter. Like those characters, like there's some characters that are a little faster than others, but like that's just not a thing that matters. Like right, like movement speed on the ground, that's not a thing. How you move off of platforms is not a thing. You know, 3D movement, you know.
Not to get into it, because this would be a whole thing. I think this is why modern Sonic games are terrible. They're so bad.
Talk to him, Andrew. Let him know.
Like, take away the boost mechanic. That's not moving. That is the autoplay feature. Sonic Adventure 2, bro. Peak. No boost. Like, you could somersault, you could jump, and you could homing attack. And, you know, spin dash. But, like, you had full control. Like, it was a skill game. There's no... Oh, my gosh. It's so bad. Like, the gimmick Wii games where it, like, auto-played for you. Like, it makes sense because those are spin-offs. But when it feels like that from, like, a mainstream game that has open world, it's so... Oh, my gosh. Why am I having to platform across an open world just to, like, go to my next level where it's, like, a 2D side-scroller in a 3D world? It just does not make sense. I just can't. I can't. I think that's, like, the thing.
You're very validly passionate about this. I know I never played a Sonic game. I think I played, like, the first 2 levels of Sonic Adventure 2 with you and Javi, and, like, that was it.
Yeah.
And so... I have no horse in this race, but I know this matters to you. So
it was so cool, and the way you could, like, even Knuckles could move, like he's gliding, like You can climb on walls, stuff like that. Like, I think it's just the control you have when he's walking and running around. It's just so controlled. It's not like infinite speed or not moving at all. And that's my problem.
Yeah.
Like,
there's no nuance. There's nothing that makes it so I'm guessing not a lot of people. I guess people are for sure speedrunning these games, but there's a reason why people want to watch the old Sonic game speedrun as opposed to the new one, right?
It was more platforming and less just hold the boost button down, and like you have the option of like fighting, like homing attacking the opponents, or you just hold the boost through them. It's so stupid. There's the occasional like time your homing attack, whatever. But like there was no auto reticle in the old game, which was probably a bad thing. But like it just felt like you earned it. Like if you like were put in a hard spot, you had to figure something out. And there was like multiple ways to do it. It was more of a Mario type of game, like platforming. It wasn't like Mario, but it was more Mario-esque than the new ones. The new ones are like just horrible. There's like no air acceleration. I think that's what that's part of it. You jump and you're just like suspended and you're like holding at. I just don't like it.
Nah, you let them know.
I hate when people say they love Sonic Frontiers. I hate it. That's red.
Was that the game that when I lived up there that you like locked yourself
I
in
was
for
sick. I was sick for like 3 days.
Guys.
Yeah. 2 days.
Andrew was out for a week. He closed the door to his room, the room you're in right now. Andrew did not come out for like an entire week. And then like I think like maybe I checked on him or something like that at some point, and I just like hear him he's like it's all right or whatever. It's at some point Andrew comes out like after a week, and he's like, I just spent the entire last week playing Sonic Front was that the one?
Yeah, Sonic Frontiers.
Okay, like playing Sonic Frontiers. That shit was so ass.
Worst game ever. I was
like, dude, I thought he was having the time of his life. I was like, oh, Andrew's like he's like sick. He's like not like gotten up from playing this game. Like this is nonstop. He must be like loving his time.
Oh my god.
And he comes out, he's like, that was so terrible.
I was nearing the end of the story and I knew it, and I was playing just to get done. Like it was so like unfun. And there was 2 fun parts of the game. One of them was the supersonic levels. There's like 4 of them. Like they were so cool. They're like cinematic. The gameplay was completely different, and that's probably why it was fun. Like it was its own thing. It was your supersonic. And the second thing about the game that was fun was the second level in the entire game, and it was the best Sonic platforming in the last 15 years. Because like you actually like to get an S rank, it was hard. First of all, second of all, you had to optimize. Like you're trying to like every part of this level you need to do better, and it just like felt like skill. Like you genuinely earned it, and the music was also fire. Like the song that played, it starts with you like running, like beginning of the level, like it's already running, and it's playing this like upbeat song. It was just cool, and you finally get the S rank. You're like, I could do this for every level. That was awesome. Then you're just...
Where was that the last, like, 40 hours of gameplay?
Sheer disappointment, bro. The entire... Like, that was the second level it gave you.
The second one.
That was the second level. And you're like, wow, this game's going to be so awesome. Then, the levels that are hard, that you need to optimize, you find one shortcut, and it takes off, like, 30 seconds from your time. It's not fun at all. The forced 2D sections of the 3D world, whoever thought of that needs fired. They need to lose their video game development license. Like, it's terrible.
Take them out back.
Seriously, who thought like you're running in the open world and you could upgrade to go like really fast. So you use your boost, you're going really fast. Then you go off a ramp. Oh, 2D section. You can't escape. You can't just leave the 2D section. You gotta go climb, jump on the rails, do the little trick, jump through the hoop, and then you finally get done, and you get something you like already have. but you just escape the 2D section. It's like so monotonous. Like it's so monotonous. Terrible experience. But
0 out of 10.
I like if someone says they like that game, they are the biggest Sonic fan, I guess, because that was not a video game. That was like
I feel like being a true fan means that you gotta like you gotta like be aware when something's dog shit. You know,
Yeah.
like, you gotta be willing to say it. Yeah,
yeah. You know how people will make like fan made games in like Unreal Engine?
yeah.
Like there's like cool videos. It felt like that. It was just like not finished. It was just like a random like what's it called? Like different like settings. Like they just picked like stock settings. Oh, this one's gonna be like the woods with a little bit of mountains. This one's a desert. Then they just put random rails and enemies with forced 2D sections. It doesn't make sense. Like horrible planning. And
I think that's like the reception of it wasn't that bad when it dropped.
no,
'cause I
people
think that's
still
part
like
of-
it.
I think that's like part of why I assumed that you were having the time of your life because people were actually saying good things about this new Sonic game.
Mhm.
So I was like, all right, I guess like I don't know what I hear from it's gonna be something good. It was you had everything you said you had now and more.
The story was like not great. It was like I easily enjoy stories, but this one just doesn't make sense. We're in some cyber universe. Don't know how we got there, which I'm sure the answer's out there somewhere. But I didn't care enough to remember because it was that bad. Dr. Eggman created this virus. Sonic slowly dying. All his friends are just there but not there. And it's like, what am I doing? Put me in the real world. Sonic Generations? Good game. I don't think it was amazing, but it was a good game. Because it made sense. Like, do you know the premise of that game?
No idea.
So the whole point of it was like a anniversary, like a 25th year anniversary or something, where you get all the old levels, but they're like refined and new.
Yeah.
There's a modern Sonic and there's a classic Sonic, and it's like the gimmick of like you being able to play the old levels as classic Sonic and as modern Sonic. So it's like a 3D section and there's like a 2D level. So there's a new one coming out with Shadow, which would be cool. But that's like the gimmick where they take all the levels. It's some time-eating monster or like interdimensional whatever. That's why all these levels are coming back. So there's an explanation. Don't know why it came back in Sonic Frontiers. Don't know why we're running to Green Hill Zone again. But yeah, it's just a sad reality. Sonic Frontiers. It's like a college. It was like their graduate program like project. Is it playable? Yes. Okay, let's put it out. It's not playable. I mean, it is. I beat it.
It definitely was played.
Yeah, it was played. But there were parts that you just cooked.
I'm honestly impressed that you like had this much hate for it and actually got all the way through. I think that's like I appreciate that a lot as someone where they're willing to like, I'm gonna finish this because I hate this, and I want to like be able to fully explain why I hate this.
There was enough incentive with the supersonic missions to like actually do it, but they got worse, like slow, like a little bit. I can't complain too much about them, but the first world was fine. Like I will say, the first one was. You're getting to know the game a little bit. You're excited about what's to come. It wasn't super amazing, but
it's probably like tutorial. Like everyone can like throw out a tutorial like level. Like, it's like it's fine.
It was chill.
It does what it's supposed to do.
You're learning what you can and can't do. Then you get to like it just felt half baked in parts, and that was like half baked of something that wasn't even gonna be good. So like, I'm just. Who knows?
Throw the whole thing away.
Maybe I need to revisit it when I'm not sick, because like I was sick at the time. Maybe I just have a bad like I'm looking at it from a bad viewpoint, but like I just remember it being miserable, just horrible. The only thing kept keeping me going. Oh my goch, it's supersonic.
No,
I've been
my
waiting.
like perspective on your entire like week changed in like 180 to one moment where I was like, oh, he's like off work, like he's like getting to play his new favorite Sonic game. He's just sits down and like grinding it out, and then you come out of there and like my like that viewpoint changed from oh my gosh, he was like locked in there dying of sickness and then watching his childhood like baby get like thrown in a fire.
I was excited. It's like open world Sonic game. No way. Like all the
You were hyped for it because you were talking about it before it even drops. Yeah,
the promo videos looked so good. Oh my gosh, it was terrible. If I was a review channel, I'd give it 3 out of 10.
Ooh.
Like really bad. Should I just release this as my review?
Yeah. This honestly changed the title of the podcast. This is the Andrew Sonic Frontiers review.
Yeah.
Like,
a year and a half after being played.
No, I think you're real and valid for all this. This is fun for me.
If Sonic saw this, he'd probably beat me up.
I don't know. Maybe I feel like a real fan should want better for their like franchise.
Yes.
I think it is valid to criticize. Like I love Halo games. I will slander Halo 5 till the day I die. Like I wanted something better than Halo 5.
What was wrong
we
with
could
it?
do better. I think the story was very disappointing. I think the direction they chose to go with it was very bad. I think they learned all of the wrong lessons from Halo 4, both in terms of gameplay and in terms of story like writing.
Mm-hmm.
Where I think like Halo, a lot of people like disliked Halo 4. It was the first time like 343 got a made like a Halo story on their own. Because they bought it from Bungie. Halo 1, 2, 3 was all from Bungie. Reach, I think Reach was technically 343, but it was like all Bungie's story. Like it was like a prequel.
Mm-hmm.
And so like this was like the first like fresh time like them continuing the timeline, and it was a very different story. And I liked Halo 4. Like even when it dropped, I didn't like it as much as like I thought I liked it less than everything. But in hindsight, I like Halo 4 a lot. I like probably like it more than some of even the Bungie ones. And it's because Halo 4 is just a different type of story, whereas like Halo 1, 2, and 3 was like fantastic like world building and things going on, but for the most part it's like I'm Master Chief and I'm here to kick ass and kill Covenant, yeah, this is gonna be like, and like it's like a very like it's like kind of hype. Whereas Halo 4 got a lot more into like the personal side of Master Chief, like a lot of his like story and like kind of like his like frankly like very traumatic like lore stuff that was all there. And it was a lot more like a personal story about him and like Cortana, and it wasn't as like hype and kick-ass, and it was like kind of like sad at like some points, and it was like and it was just a lot more of a personal story, and I really liked it. And I really like it now, and that I think it like Chief is so much of a better character for like having that story go, but it's just very different, and a lot of people didn't vibe with it at the time. And I think the general consensus is that after Halo 5 dropped, we all realized how much we should have appreciated Halo 4.
Yeah.
Because I think they 180'd on a lot of the directions that they wanted to go, and are like, okay, well, people didn't like this, so like, we're gonna go back to like try to do something else, but they did it worse. They had these like the levels were like really bad. I think the actual multiplayer was pretty good, but I just think the story and the campaign was so boring.
Yeah.
And also like not even just like boring, but like I don't know, it was like I'd say like a lot of like where the story mistakes happen is like how people felt about the Star Wars sequels. Where like they gave up trying to do their own thing, and then we're just gonna copy and paste like the original trilogy on top of this, and then somehow Palpatine has returned. Like like this like that's like just like basically what Halo 5 story was. And yeah, it was a mess. I'll slander Halo 5 to the day back. I think Infinite was a lot better of a game. I actually still think it had a lot of similar problems. I don't love Infinite, but I think it was like the first positive trend I'd seen in the storytelling, so I'm like happier about it. But yeah, like real fans are willing to criticize their favorite franchises. You should want a better game from yourself. I want better Smash game from Nintendo.
Yes.
That's what I want, right? Like I want better Pokemon games from Game Freak. I want better. I want them to keep thinking about how can we make Peak better? Not how can we just like copy and paste it.
I think Gen 1, 2, 3, and 4 and 5.
Oh yeah, 5.
Oh my gosh, it was like like Gen 1 and 2 was definitely like a build up. Then Gen 3, they're going all out. They're like end of the world type thing. Gen 4, like same thing. Gen 5, it somehow even ups the stakes then.
I will say I think 6 and 7 were like pretty bad. I didn't play Ultra Sun, Ultra Moon, and I have heard really good things about those games. So I can't slander them. I just like Gen 6 and Gen 7, just Gen 7 being just Sun and Moon. Very, very bad Pokemon games, in my opinion. I actually like a lot of things about Gen 6. Omega Ruby Alpha Sapphire was like good, but they were like probably the weakest remakes up to that point. And like a lot of like the general consensus on Omega Ruby Alpha Sapphire is like, if you didn't play Ruby and Sapphire, you'd probably think they're great games. And like I think Gen 6 was just like Kalos. I like Kalos, but the actual like story, like gameplay was just really poorly paced, and a lot of things are like just like not super great. I will say I am more partial to Gen 8 than Gen 9 and Gen 9 than a lot of people are. I actually like a lot of things about Gen 8, and my biggest criticism of Gen 8 was they should take the wild area and make an entire game out of it. I hated every other segment of the game but the wild area, and that's basically what they did in Gen 9, where they made the entire area the open world like thing, and I actually really did like that. I just don't like that they took away a lot of the good things that they were doing in Sword and Shield. Like, I wish Sword and Shield, like the animations of Scarlet and Violet, had half of the soul that they had in Sword and Shield, and even in Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon. Like, some of the animations of the Z moves in those games are wild. And the animations of Gen 9 are just like the first massive downgrade we've had in such a long time. And then obviously there's a lot of like optimizing to do, but in general, I had a lot of fun playing Scarlet and Violet, and obviously like I have a competitor like bias too. It feels great competing in VGC in these games. It is so easy to make a Pokemon team now. You guys, it was such a struggle before.
Yeah,
like
that is
half the reason why I'm like playing Pokemon again is because it is easy to. Like a lot of the reason why I stopped is because like getting perfect legendaries even in Gen 6 was miserable. And a lot of times you'd have to like settle for like suboptimal things and stuff like that. It just felt horrible. But Gen 9 like made it like this is the easiest it's ever been, and it feels so good. I can make a team in like 2 hours starting completely from scratch.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's really cool. But I don't know, I think we've like gone so far off the tangent that there might be no recovery
so
from
Stride is no longer gonna be on Smash.
Yeah.
Circle back somehow.
Yeah. I think there's just a lot of energy lost in Smash at the moment, and NA needs to figure out how to get it back, either in terms of, I think the real answer is we need storylines. I think we need something like, I think like the storylines is really what had people invested, and I think for a while it was who's going to be the guy that beats Leo, and I don't think we've recovered from that storyline since. There are storylines, I just don't think they're quite as hyped up as much. I think like past that, like we just got to figure out a way to make the audience care, and like, dude, this is. I think the players still care, but I think a lot of like the people, like a lot of viewers have lost interest in Smash.
This is what like okay, we should make a video. It's like not a podcast, but like we get important points, and we discuss the changes of the four horsemen dynamic, and our predictions. We'll be like an ESPN.
It's really important that we do it in this format, or else we'll go on another Sonic Frontiers rant and another Halo.
Like we'll like it doesn't have to be live. We can do this like I think that'll be a sick video. What storylines are going on that you're most excited for? Who are your top picks?
Yeah.
And yeah.
Maybe we can save the sponsors in Smash. Maybe we can build the storylines back up. But at the end of the day, it's you guys. You guys watching the stream. You guys watching Andrew's videos. You guys are the life of this game. You guys are like what brings sponsors around. I have fear still because of you guys.
Yeah.
You guys are what matter here. So,
Emma, what's up? Shion, what is up?
Oh, Shion's in chat?
I think it might be not the Shion you're thinking of.
Well,
unless
I'm glad you appreciate the GOAT even if you're imitating him, but if it is the real you, I'm your biggest fan.
Shion's a character from Tales of Arise.
Oh, I mean, I should know that. Toast have been trying to get me to play Tales games for so long.
Tales of Arise is like, it's fire.
No, I've heard good things. and I do trust him on it. I just like never had time and also remembered at the same time. Like this is a great example of like I do not have time to start an RPG game right now, but it's the first time I've remembered in a while, and I'm sure the next time I remember, I will also not have time. But there will have been some point in between where I would have had time and then forgot.
Yeah. It has the fan service for people like you, Steven.
Oh, you know me. Yeah, it's really what I'm looking for in my video games, like Halo.
Yeah. What's up, Scarlet?
All right. I don't know. Should we wrap things up?
I think we should call it there. Thanks for joining, guys. We'll be back on our weekly schedule. That was kind of on me, and then it was on him, and then it was on.
Like last week was like, okay, can we hold it back one? I stayed in like Sandusky a little one day later than I thought I was going to, and you're like, yeah, chill. All right. I'm like, Andrew, you ready to go for this? You're like, I can't do it today, man. Like, okay, can you do it tomorrow? Yeah, sure. Have Wednesday comes up, like, dude, I can't do it. Can we do this the Thursday? And you're like, I'm not even gonna be able to do it Thursday. And you're like, well, Friday I'm gonna be in Baltimore. So,
dang it!
I don't know. So suddenly a whole week is gone. So, wait, what happened?
Wait, is this actually Shion?
Oh, we got real Shion. We got Japan Shion.
Shion, are you the Shion blue Zero Suit?
The one that actually does like the optimal combos.
What's your Discord? Get on this call.
Get it? Unironically, you get like speak any English. Honestly, if you don't, we'll find a translator. We're gonna get you on this podcast.
Yes.
Like
Neo?
Yeah. No, that'd actually be such a fire, dude.
Oh my god.
What if we have a podcast episode? We get Neo on here, and Neo is translating for Shion while we're also doing this. This is good. Like this is feasible.
Yeah, this is possible. Hold on.
Like
Shion,
we do know
don't
Neo
leave.
like that.
Don't leave. Let me Google Translate. Japanese to English is already up there. Or English to Japanese. What should I say?
I mean, honestly, with probably the best thing we should do is to get like Neo to communicate this, but we would love to have you on the podcast.
All right.
I just like communicate the intention that we want him here. We want him talking with us. So,
Shion. This is probably some scuffed Google Translate.
This is really probably really bad. We look like idiots.
Last time I tried to translate something in Twitch chat, they all made fun. They made fun of me.
I mean, yeah, it's probably gonna happen again.
They're like, what is he trying to say?
But if nothing else, we can get Neo to communicate this.
Mhm.
But I am a huge Shion fan. I am a huge Shion fan. There is not many Zero Suits that I like actively seek out their VODs for fun. In fact, he's the only one I seek out for fun. I love seeing the way that guy combos. He's different.
Yep.
If you guys don't know about him, you guys should check him out. He has some fantastic VODs. Very, very optimal Zero Suit player. He hits the hard combos. The combos that I flamed everyone else for not going for. He hits them. He's different.
I said we are fans of you.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know how much English you know, but we definitely watch you play, and I know I always look for you in any Japanese tournaments.
Always the first thing I check. Half the time, if I turn him off, it's because I found out that Shion's not in it anymore.
Yep.
Yeah. I'm like, that's the point.
Yeah, this is where Neo translates, and then Shion's like, yeah, because I'm the GOAT.
I'm not kidding. This could be like the greatest podcast episode.
This
of all
could
time.
be awesome. Well,
God,
we know.
I don't
Who else can translate from Japanese? I'm
I'm
sure I can find someone.
Spencer. Is it?
Oh, Spencer Rock.
Yeah.
What's his Esteban?
Yeah, I was trying to remember his tag. I was like, Spencer, like, yeah. He's actually got some of that. He lives in Japan still, right?
Yeah. I'd throw someone $20 to translate for us.
I'd throw more than $20 if it's Shion, all right? You know?
Yeah.
I'd love to hear this guy say.
We'll DM Shion. Send your Discord. But yeah, we're gonna wrap it up for tonight.
Who's streaming? Who we got?
Wait, I thought that was like Florida. Shion, Florida. I was like, there's no way, right?
That's crazy to me still. Like, you know, I was like, oh shoot.
We could raid Spargo.
Down. Who else is going though? He's eating good.
Unrivaled. Atata is in that tournament. We could do.
Always down to send people to appreciate Jeff.
Yeah.
Jeff also had an incredible run. I think he got top 24, right?
Yeah. Top 24 at 2 P tiers. Back to back. Dude. I don't know. Oh, Abe's streaming. What the heck?
Oh, we get Abe in there. Abe, absolutely.
Yeah, Darius, thanks for the sub. Thanks for being here.
Yeah, we're gonna send you guys over to Abe. He's a regular chatter in here. You got the room with him at SmashCon, right?
Yes, Abe is actually he's such a good dude. Genuinely. And he's very good at the game. I think he just needs more hours. But hey, keep grinding. We're all getting better. Peace out.
See y'all.
All right. We are officially